moving on to our big topic for the week, our main event. So the Oscars are coming up for us anyway. For you guys, they'll have already happened. You'll already know who won Best Picture because this will be uploaded after the Oscars. So we don't know if Three Billboards or Shape of Water or Lady Bird is going to win Best Picture. But you haven't seen those movies. You've seen Thor Ragnarok and Spider-Man and Guardians and all the superhero movies. So we're here to cater to your needs, introducing the first annual Blockbuster Oscars, otherwise known as the Bloscars, because it rolls off the tongue. It sounds great. So
rolls off the tongue indeed.
Yes, these Bloscars are made specifically nominating the movies that people actually saw. So there's not too big of an eligibility field for nomination. The nominations must have made over $100 million at the domestic box office. If there's no good contenders for any particular nomination, then it must be from a big studio movie that tried to make $100 million but just failed. So let's get on with the nominees. So, leading the way with nominations, Dunkirk with 13 nominations, The Greatest Showman with 11. Both Star Wars The Last Jedi and Wonder Woman had 9 nominations each, and Get Out had 8. We'll see who wins the Blockbuster Oscars. So, in terms of voting, the rest of the Cinema Council, which today is just Andrew, but we were planning to have some other folks come on. Our friends Tav and George, they voted too. They couldn't be here because they bailed on us at the last second, but their votes will still count just to make it just a little bit more interesting.
Shout out to them in spirit.
Shout out to Tav and George. If you're listening to this, we hope you're on for the next episode.
Also subscribe. We need fans.
We do. So, hit that subscribe button. Leave a like, share with your friends. Okay, no, the episode's not over. All right. Starting with the nominees for Best Animated Feature, we have The Boss Baby, Cars 3, Coco, Despicable Me 3, and the Lego Batman Movie. And the Bloscar goes to the Lego Batman Movie. You voted for Coco, right?
I did.
Yeah, well, Lego Batman unfortunately edged it out. I thought Lego Batman was a great movie. I had to do the tiebreaker for that one. By the way, if there are 3-way ties, since there were 3 voters, if there's 3-way ties with any of these, I will be the tiebreaker. I tried to tiebreak as fairly as possible. I tried to even out the winners so that no movie got like 13 wins or something.
I will say, Lego Batman Movie, that would have been probably my second choice.
Yeah.
I thought Coco, I'm a huge Disney fan, as I mentioned, so Coco was, I really enjoyed it, and it is Pixar. Pixar did a great job with the film. Lego Batman Movie, I definitely enjoyed that one too. It was a nice comedic film, not something that I'd, say was like something I go rewatch in theaters or anything. But, if I'm ever just looking for a fun time, I'd watch it again. I will say, definitely Will Arnett as Batman. That was a nice character choice, and I'm excited for a Lego Movie sequel, so,
yes.
Hopefully that'll be good. And, these standalone Lego films, they haven't, managed to become like what the Lego Movie was, but, at least they haven't dropped to the levels of the Emoji Movie, so,
Yes.
You have to give credit where it's due.
Yes. Fortunately for you, Coco does have another nomination left, and that is in Best Song. We'll see if it can win that. Next up, Best Visual Effects. We have Dunkirk, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Kong Skull Island, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and War for the Planet of the Apes. And the Bloscar goes to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Best Visual Effects. What do you think about that?
I am in favor of that decision. When you've got this otherworldly space film, you need to have like these constant, different that you visit, you gotta have tons of new creatures and everything. So visual effects have to be, on point for those films. And I thought they did a great job. The Guardians Volume 2 definitely had, like this kind of color scheme, kind of like a retro-y feel to it. So I really enjoyed that. So I am definitely happy with that choice.
Yes. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, one of the best visual effects movies of the year, as evidenced by these Bloscars, obviously, but just overall, for the whole year, it was, in the cinema, it was just an amazing experience to see, and I believe it does have another nomination left, and that is in Best Makeup and Hairstyling. We'll see if it can win that. Next up, Best Sound Mixing. We have, yeah, we have Baby Driver, Dunkirk, The Greatest Showman, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and War for the Planet of the Apes. And the Bloscar goes to Baby Driver.
Alright. Definitely another one of my choices, so happy about that. I saw Baby Driver a few months ago. It was a very good film, great director. It wasn't like, this huge blockbuster movie. It didn't feel like that to me. It was just another great movie. And a ton of Baby Driver was kind of revolving around music, so they had great tracks and everything, and I felt the music that was playing definitely heightened all the scenes it was playing in.
Yeah, definitely. The way they incorporated the music into Baby Driver is just astounding to me, and that's part of the reason why it won Best Sound Mixing. And next is Best Sound Editing. Nominees are Baby Driver, again, Dunkirk, Star Wars The Last Jedi, War for the Planet of the Apes, and Wonder Woman. And the Bloscar goes to Star Wars The Last Jedi for Best Sound Editing.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Last Jedi and Baby Driver both had great sounds to them. Baby Driver, I kind of felt like I had to give one vote to each film.
Yeah.
Last Jedi, Star Wars music is iconic. So it definitely deserves, to have some music award to it. And the main reason I gave it to Last Jedi, though, is because of that one hyperspace space collision.
Yeah.
That was just incredible. How they just, it was a huge scene. If it was a Michael Bay film, you would have heard the explosion. But
this is no Michael Bay film.
It went silent. It showed you just how epic it was. There were dozens of lives lost, and Captain Holdo's character, who people get on her because she was keeping secrets, and that was definitely not a good part of her character. But I wish they hadn't killed her off. I wish it had been Leia that had done the hyperspace scene. But I felt like it was a great send-off for her character. It capitalized on her bravery. She may not have been, the best leader in terms of sharing info, but she had a plan, and she knew how to enact it, and she was going to get the plan enacted no matter what. It cost her life, but she helped get them to the salt planet, so.
Yeah. Michael Bay, if you're listening, you don't need explosions to make a good movie. The Last Jedi, I don't care what anybody else says, is better than any Transformers movie that's ever been made, including the non-Michael Bay one. So next up is Best Song. The nominees are Evermore from Beauty and the Beast, Friends Are Family from the Lego Batman movie, I Don't Want to Live Forever from 50 Shades Darker, Remember Me from Coco, and This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. And the Bloscar goes to This Is Me from The Greatest Showman.
I will say I voted for Remember Me from Coco, but This Is Me from Greatest Showman, that was another one of my top choices. In the I really enjoyed The Greatest Showman. I know you're not like a huge fan of it, Baxter.
I do like the music
Yeah.
though. I do like the
The
music.
music is one of the reasons I've kind of elevated it to this high status, and it's broken many box office records.
Yes.
It and Jumanji, and by it, not the movie It, but
The Greatest Showman.
The
Yes.
Greatest Showman and Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Those are kind of like the films no one expected to do terrific at the box office, and yet they've now since exceeded expectations. So the "This Is Us" song is definitely a very powerful.
This is me. This Is Us returns on Tuesday at 9/8 Central on NBC. No, we're kidding. But,
yeah, this is me. The song kind of it's very powerful, and it kind of comes in the scene where the circus crew has kind of been outcast by the person that recruited them, and they were already outcast in society. So to feel like they finally have a purpose in life, and then have that purpose kind of stripped away, saying, "Yeah, you were just part of the gig," and this is kind of like their way to revolt. So it was nice to see these characters who had kind of been sidelined for most of the movie take some center stage and just really give it their all in the song.
Yeah. The Greatest Showman, as you mentioned, I'm not the biggest fan of that movie, but I do respect the music. I do own This Is Me on iTunes. It's a very good song. It is rotten on Rotten Tomatoes for a reason, but it does have 11 Bloscar nominations, so let's see what it can do with those. All right. Next up is Best Score. We have Coco, Dunkirk, Star Wars The Last Jedi, War for the Planet of the Apes, and Wonder Woman. And the Bloscar goes to Wonder Woman.
Yes, Wonder Woman had a great score to it. It was, nice music to accompany the fight scenes and everything. It wasn't always there for tons of like the emotional moments. But there are two scenes in particular where the score really stood out.
Oh yeah.
I'd say they were both towards the end of the film. Number one would be, in terms of ranking, number one would be Diana's fight with Ares, and how when she's finally becoming like the embracing the power of Zeus, and you've got the music overlaying that scene, and then you've also got the scenes sifting between Steve Trevor's last moments on the plane, and as he sacrifices himself. And so I felt those scenes were very emotional. So the music like playing over the scenes was just like epic. And then another one of the scenes I really enjoyed was when Wonder Woman has gone to like this gassed city, and she's trying to run in and save everyone, and Steve Trevor's kind of like telling her, "You can't. I'm sorry, but this is just how war is." And while she's vehemently testifying that everyone is not innately bad, and there should be some way to like just stop all this horror. The music overlaying that scene, it's kind of it creates a ton of tension, and that's definitely very deserving of that moment.
Yeah. I personally think the score was very good. It was loud and bold in the action scenes when it needed to be, but also really heartfelt and emotional in the scenes when it needed to be in the more dramatic scenes. Wonder Woman has a few more nominations left. Let's see what it can do. Best Production Design is the next category. Our nominees are Beauty and the Beast, Dunkirk, The Greatest Showman, Murder on the Orient Express, and Wonder Woman. And the Bloscar goes to Dunkirk.
I haven't actually seen Dunkirk yet, but I've heard great reviews about it, so that's definitely on my watch list. So I'll try and catch that within the next few weeks or so. I think it's definitely deserving of this win, and that's all I really have to say about it until I actually see the film.
Yeah, that's smart. Production design, Christopher Nolan really put all he had into that movie. He's gonna try to win Best Director both in the Bloscars and for real this year. And I think the production design that he put into that movie is amazing and deserving of this award. All right, our next category is Best Makeup and Hairstyling. There's only 3 nominees for this category. We have Ghost in the Shell, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Wonder. And the Blosker goes to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, once again, picking up its second Blosker of today.
Yeah, that's my reason for choosing Guardians of the Galaxy is again based on the fact that, it's in space, so you've got all these alien characters, so obviously production design, has to be top notch. Not production design, but makeup and hairstyling has to be top notch to really get you feeling like you're in space and not just watching just it's pleasurable to the eyes. It's not live action Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's true. It's not. What James Gunn was able to do with both the visual effects and the makeup and hairstyling with this movie is very deserving, and that's why it won. This was actually the only category where all 3 of the voters chose the same winner. And it definitely deserves it. All right, next category is Best Film Editing. We have Baby Driver, Dunkirk, Get Out, The Greatest Showman, and Star Wars The Last Jedi. And the Blosker goes to Star Wars The Last Jedi.
That gives it its 3rd nomination and its 3rd win.
Second win.
Second win. Sorry, Last Jedi. You only got 2 out of 3, but not too shabby. It's definitely a great movie. I felt to me. The plot was rocky, but just production on the film. It had great sound editing, and so it's great music. So I feel like if you're dislike the movie for its plot, that's okay. I definitely felt a little bit too long, kind of just kept going when it should have stopped. But I feel like just in terms of everything else, you have to respect it for being, this Star Wars film. So obviously it's gonna be excellent in terms of design and everything.
Yeah. In terms of film editing, you might not like the plot of The Last Jedi all that much. I definitely had some problems with it, but in terms of editing, they did a really good job with that. I think the scene that I think of when I think of The Last Jedi's film editing is that scene with Rey in the cave where she's seeing all those versions of herself. I think that scene in particular really stands out to me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that scene. I know people have been hashing on that scene because
it makes no sense.
It's a confusing scene, and you expect them to explain it more towards the end, and you get the reveal of Rey's parent heritage, which is still another point entirely that people are still conflicted on, whether Kylo was telling the truth or not. But that scene where it's just kind of this endless reflection of Rey, that was just cool to see, confusing to understand.
Yeah, great editing, not so great plot, in summary. All right, our next Blosker category, is Best Costume Design. Our nominees are Beauty and the Beast, Dunkirk, The Greatest Showman, Murder on the Orient Express, and Wonder Woman. And the Blosker goes to The Greatest Showman.
Definitely a worthy win for The Greatest Showman.
Yes.
Definitely when you're looking at circus and stuff, they're gonna be costumes. They really brought the costumes into this film, and it felt like you were watching the circus. And I would go to the circus when I was younger, so I'm definitely still have some fond memories of that. So kind of just to see all these circus costumes and acts coming back, it's nice to see. And it was a great movie too, so credit where it's due.
Yes. This is The Greatest Showman's second win after its Best Song win. And now our next category is Best Cinematography. We have Dunkirk, Get Out, The Greatest Showman, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and Wonder Woman. And the Blosker goes to Dunkirk. once again.
And as I haven't seen the film, not too much to say. I definitely know that, with Dunkirk being a war movie and everything, there's definitely going to be some, like, large scenes that require, great design and everything, so definitely Dunkirk is worthy of these wins.
Yes, I had the opportunity to see Dunkirk in theaters when it came out, much like, what else did it win? It was like, production design. Nolan did a great job with the cinematography of that movie, and he really put the best shots into that movie to make it worthy of the IMAX title that it possessed, and so too worthy of the best cinematography win that it now possesses. And our next category is best original screenplay. We're going down to the wire here, almost at the actors. Our nominees for Best Original Screenplay are Baby Driver, Coco, Dunkirk, Get Out, and The Greatest Showman. And the Bloscar goes to Dunkirk for its third win. Not too much to say here, but once again, after I saw Dunkirk, it was the screenplay that Nolan wrote for that movie was incredible, and it deserves these 3 wins, to say the least. So our next category is Best Adapted Screenplay. This is best screenplay taken from an existing source material. Our nominees are Beauty and the Beast, Logan, Star Wars The Last Jedi, Wonder, and Wonder Woman. And the Bloscar goes to Logan for its first win.
Logan was a great film. Definitely like it was kind of the other big superhero film with an R rating, the other one being Deadpool. They were kind of on opposite sides. Deadpool was R for comedy, Logan was R for violence. But it was a conclusion to Wolverine's story, and Logan's character is, one who's dealt with a lot of his struggles in his past. His journey continues with even more struggles. And when Logan dies at the end, so spoilers there,
obviously. Spoilers for Logan.
If you're still listening, you probably know by now there's going to be spoilers. So, his ending it's very emotional and impactful. It's not like treated, as like this large superhero death. It's treated like, if like a friend dies, it's a solemn moment. You don't need to have like jokes encompassing that moment. You don't need to ruin the scene with comedy or anything. You just need to have kind of that be the serious moment, and that's the ending of the film. So, well, when Logan finally dies, it's not the happiest death for him, and he's dealt with so much stuff. This is just almost more tragedy, and yet it's still a nice conclusion for his character. He's gone on an arc, and while this death might be kind of semi-abrupt and everything, it's treated very professionally, and it's given what it's due. And the final scene, which I find it's like now iconic to me, is when X-23 takes the cross on Logan's grave and turns it into an X, marking his life as an X-Men. It's just very symbolic to me, and I thought that was a great moment, and that was the perfect ending to the movie.
It was also the perfect example of what a great screenplay that James Mangold penned for this. And this is the first nomination and first win for Logan. A lot of superhero movies getting some wins here. Obviously, we're biased because we're teenagers and we're nerds and we like comic book movies. But we'll see what else these superhero movies can do. And now we're getting into the acting categories. These are the favorites among the fans usually. So we start out with Best Supporting Actor. We have Kenneth Branagh from Dunkirk, Mark Rylance from Dunkirk, Patrick Stewart from Logan, Bradley Whitford from Get Out, and Owen Wilson from Wonder. And the Bloscar goes to Patrick Stewart from Logan.
Logan was like one of the only movies I've seen on that list, so I'm a tad biased towards it.
Yes.
But Patrick Stewart, this was also his ending in Logan, his character Professor X. So his ending was a okay ending. I felt it was treated a little less proper than Logan's death was. I felt they could have done some more to it, but he's kind of suffering from this dementia, and so now he's also had this tragic background now, and so you really can understand the sense of his character here. And Patrick Stewart, he realizes that this is the professor send off, so he's trying to amplify that tragedy that kind of goes along with it, and it doesn't come across as too much. In the original X-Men series, his character is kind of almost comedic in it, and in Logan he takes on a very serious role as he's now responsible for the deaths of his former students. So it's very emotional, and Patrick Stewart does a great job with what he's given.
Yes. All right, now moving on to the Best Supporting Actress category. Our nominees are Penelope Cruz from Murder on the Orient Express, Judi Dench, also from Murder on the Orient Express, Carrie Fisher from Star Wars The Last Jedi in her final performance, Tiffany Haddish from Girls Trip, and Allison Williams from Get Out. And the Bloscar goes to Penelope Cruz from Murder on the Orient Express.
I saw Murder on the Oriental Express. It was a okay movie for me. I have to say, I didn't really enjoy it too much. I almost felt it was boring, but it's also a very artistic movie, so I'm probably not the best person to go to for understanding all the artistic films. Like, I saw Lady Bird and didn't think it was terrific, yet it's getting an Oscar, so obviously I don't know all the stuff that Oscar reviewers do. But I don't remember Penelope Cruz's character entirely, but I remember the ensemble cast, and they did a good job kind of emphasizing each character, giving them their own individual backstories. So,
yes. Our next category is for Best Actor. Our nominees are Hugh Jackman for The Greatest Showman, Hugh Jackman again for Logan. Yes, he's that good. He got 2 nominations in one category. We have Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out, James McAvoy from Split, and Andy Serkis doing motion capture work in War for the Planet of the Apes. And the Bloscar goes to Hugh Jackman from Logan.
This was definitely, I think Hugh Jackman did a great job in The Greatest Showman, but obviously I'm biased towards Logan, so I felt that Hugh Jackman, in the finale role, I'm a big fan of finales and endings of sagas, so
as am I.
I felt that, he did a great job in Logan, and I felt that, as it was his send-off from probably, just Fox and Marvel, basically, I felt it was definitely a great ending. And The Greatest Showman, it was a nice film. I really enjoyed it. And Hugh Jackman's character he still did a great job with that. So not like saying one is better than the other. But Logan, it was his send off. So I felt that definitely deserved Logan's win.
Yeah. I think Hugh Jackman's mentalities when it came to these movies, where The Greatest Showman was kind of his passion project. He wanted to make a musical for a long time, and he got the chance to do that. But for Logan, he's been playing this character for 17 years now, and he finally got the send-off that he wanted and the send-off that he deserved. So good for him. He's got Bloscar. The movie Logan has 3 Bloscars from 3 nominations. It was a perfect streak. And now we go to Best Actress for our next category. We have Gal Gadot from Wonder Woman, Julianne Moore from Suburbicon, Julia Roberts from Wonder, Michelle Williams from The Greatest Showman, and Kate Winslet from The Mountain Between Us. And the winner, the Bloscar, goes to Gal Gadot from Wonder Woman.
Definitely props to her for, making Wonder Woman into a great character. If it was a bad actor, I could see the film also being bad. Patty Jenkins was a great director, but Gal Gadot was also a huge part in why Wonder Woman was so good. She knew her character, she knew where she was coming from, so Wonder Woman kind of felt like Gal Gadot kind of felt like she was almost playing herself while she was playing Wonder Woman, and so that brought a sense of realism to her story.
Yeah, props to her. This is Wonder Woman's second win after its Best Score win. Speaking of Patty Jenkins, she is nominated in our next category, which is Best Director. The nominees are Bill Condon for Beauty and the Beast, Michael Gracey for The Greatest Showman, Patty Jenkins for Wonder Woman, Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, and Jordan Peele for Get Out. And the Bloscar goes to Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk.
Christopher Nolan is a great director, in my opinion, and I loved what he did with the Batman trilogy. So, as I haven't seen Dunkirk, I'm not gonna say too much about it, but I know that Christopher Nolan did a great job with it based on the reviews, and I trust his work as a director. So
yeah, I'm a little biased towards Christopher Nolan myself. I think he should have at least 5 Oscars in real life by now because he's done some amazing work with Batman movies and Inception, Interstellar, Prestige, Memento, Dunkirk. I mean, I could go on, but he's amazing. This was probably the hardest category for me to judge because this was also a tiebreaker category. It came down between Patty Jenkins, Nolan, and Jordan Peele, and it was very tough, but I went with Nolan the slight edge over Patty Jenkins.
yeah, I will say Patty Jenkins was great with Wonder Woman, so props to her as well. And with Jordan Peele, he's a comedic actor, but Get Out was a great film, so I felt for Jordan Peele to have made Get Out, that showed some real props to him as a director. Yeah. So I felt like he was deserving as as a win too, but I had to give it to Christopher Nolan here.
Yes, and our final category, the big final hurrah for all these movies, is Best Picture. We have 10 nominees here. Let me count them down for you. We have Baby Driver, Beauty and the Beast, Coco, Dunkirk, Get Out, The Greatest Showman, Logan, Star Wars The Last Jedi, War for the Planet of the Apes, and Wonder Woman.
That is 10 movies.
Yes. And the final Bloscar goes to the winner to end all winners of the first annual Bloscars. The winner, the Bloscar goes to Logan.
As I said, Logan was a great movie, and it was the conclusion to Wolverine's time as an X-Men. Or X-Man, I guess.
X-Man, I suppose, yeah.
All these movies were great, but Logan was definitely worthy of another win here, and, it was definitely a tough choice, so if another movie I'd win, I would still be in support for it, so.
And that'll do it for the first annual Bloscars. Let's recap the winners real quick. Logan had 4 nominations and 4 wins. Dunkirk, out of its 13 nominations, also had 4 wins. The Greatest Showman, out of 11 nominations, got 2 wins. So did Wonder Woman, so did Star Wars, so did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And Murder on the Orient Express, Baby Driver, and Lego Batman also took home awards from the first annual Bloscars. And that will wrap up today's show. So, now we go to our final announcements. Is any social media that you want to plug?
I'm not a huge social media person, so I don't really have any Snapchat or Instagram stuff.
That's okay. It's because I do. Alright, if you liked this, follow me on Instagram at WBaxterWhite. We realize that we're not perfect at podcasting. This is our first ever podcast. We're trying our best here, but we realize that there could be improvements. And the best way for there to be improvements is for there to be suggestions that you guys leave in the comments section of this YouTube video. Leave ideas for improvement. What what should we talk about in future episodes? What can we do to improve the show? Leave all that down in the comments. Email me business queries that you have at baxtercinemacouncil@gmail.com. If any of you listeners want to be a part of a future episode of the Cinema Council, contact me. You can DM me on Instagram or hit me up at my aforementioned email account. Thank you, everybody, all you listeners. If you made it to the end, first of all,
Good job.
Good for you. Congratulations. Second of all, thank you for sticking through it. We've been doing this for a really long time. Almost over an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew, for being part of the show.
Happy to be here.
Yes.
Hope there's more episodes. And
I hope there's too.
hope you faithful listeners tune in for more.
Yes. So yeah, remember to hit that like button if you liked it, or even if you didn't like it. It's not going to cost you anything to press a button. And it's not going to cost you anything to press the subscribe button either. So do that for us. And no, in all seriousness, it really does show that you support this podcast in all of its worth, and if it shows us that you guys want to see more. And if you do want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll try to keep making more for you guys.
Yeah, we realize that this is the first episode, so we can't expect, too much of you guys. If you've seen this, we're not, forcing you guys to subscribe and everything. But if you really enjoyed it, it'd be nice if you told some of your other friends about it, because there'll probably be more episodes. So, if you stay tuned with us, you will gain more knowledge. And, all YouTube channels start out with one episode, and they're not going to be great at first. So if you'll just watch and see the show develop, that'd be great.
Yes. So please do leave a like, subscribe. We won't clutter up your feed. We only upload once every 14 days. We won't clutter up your feed, I promise. Please do share this with people that you think would really enjoy this. And thanks everybody for listening. Thank you, Andrew, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. And I guess that'll end it. So from Andrew and everybody else who made this possible, I'm Baxter, and we are signing out.